What's going on, Assassins? This is Darkshot of the YouTube Assassin, and the other day, while live streaming, we were having a good old time, having a big old discussion, and we came across a totally different topic than Assassin's Creed, which had to do with The Last of Us and The Last of Us 2. We weren't specifically talking about the series, we were talking more about the zombies themselves, and how the affliction that they have is actually fungal. The Cordyceps is a real world fungus that actually exists and acts the very same way it does in the game. Not only that, but this fungus was released, a mutated version, by none other than Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series. That's right, I'm putting him on this, and I'm going to show you the connections between the two. And before we get into it, just a couple of things. First, there will be spoilers for the Last of Us series and the Uncharted series, so if you have an interest in playing them, now's your chance to stop the video, play, and come back. Second, this is going to be pretty scary stuff, including real-world themes, because as I stated, Cordyceps are a real fungus. It's scarier than an old bald miser with oversized dentures ending his Golden Girls marathon only to watch my videos and steal the content and concepts, creating a video that he'll pass off as his own while using a thumbnail with the color of phlegm he spit in his bedpan, and then claim that it was a unique idea while not crediting me and pretending he's a real YouTuber. That's right, my friends, we're talking about mindless parasites. As I said before, Cordyceps is a real-world genus of fungi. It hasn't mutated where it can affect humans, yet, but there are records of it affecting small animals and especially bugs. Similarly to the game, the bug will breathe in spores or get an infection by other means. Once the fungal infection begins, it makes a beeline for the brain. Once the brain is infected, the host is compelled to do the bidding of the fungus, and that is to find a cool, dark, damp place where it can reproduce. It then spreads through the body, feeding on it nutrients, sprouting out of the host, and creating more spores for other unsuspecting creatures to inhale and continue the process. Similarly, this happens to the humans in The Last of Us. A more advanced Cordyceps was unleashed on the world. The first stage of infection creates a runner, a human who is in the beginning stages. These humans are compelled to do as the fungus wills them to, and to find other victims. The next stage are stalkers, just like runners, but the beginning to lose their vision. As the body sprouts a bunch of fungus, it starts to cover up the eyes, it starts to cover up everything. The third stage are the clickers. Totally blind, reacting to sound, and covered in the fungus completely. Shamblers, bloaters, and the rest are totally different mutations, and the topic for another video if you'd like. If you'd like, let me know in the comments below. And while you're at it, make sure that you hit that like, and don't forget to subscribe. Ring that bell so that you never miss any content that's put on this channel. As we move on to the scary stuff, you'll also see a bunch of areas where a clicker or other Cordyceps victim is just sitting in a bed of fungus and not moving. It doesn't have to be just sitting on the floor either. You'll find them stuck to walls, ceilings, floors, or other victims even, all while wrapped up in the Cordyceps fungus. These hosts are totally drained of nutrients to the point that they can no longer move. All that's left for these victims is for their nutrients to be used up while being a housing for the fungus. In the real world, again, this is how Cordyceps reacts. It's a brutal infection that uses these methods to reproduce. Even scarier is the belief scientists have about the hosts for this fungus. Scientists actually believe that the host is still alive while the Cordyceps does its thing. And I don't mean zombie undead. I mean alive and aware of what's happening to it as fungus is using it for housing, food, and reproduction. Imagine being aware that you're attacking your friends and loved ones, knowing it's wrong, and you don't want to do it, but having zero control over this. On top of that, you feel every growth of this fungus, every crack of your skin, every pop releasing spores, and the loss of your sight. Not only would this be frightening imagery, it's frightening to imagine this is all going on and you can't do a thing about it. Your only release is death via your final days as a host or by the hands of a survivor who damages your brain or other vital organs enough to end it all. This is really, really scary stuff, honestly. Again, it's nothing to worry about. This nightmare only happens to bugs and small animals in the real world. But how did it happen in The Last of Us? Well, many point to none other than Nathan Drake of the Uncharted series. Now, there are many points for and against this theory. First, Uncharted is a video game series you find everywhere in The Last of Us 2, as is Jak and Daxter apparently. Second are the dates. Outbreak Day in The Last of Us took place November 26, 2013. The first 3 Uncharted games were in 2007, 2009, and 2010. Now, there are other games, and according to in-game calendars and Naughty Dog official information releases, Uncharted 4 takes place 3 years after the end of Uncharted 3, making it 2013. Using Uncharted 4's epilogue, however, we're given a 2028 to 2032 future time frame with no infected. A New Legacy, the 5th game, takes place in 2014 as well, with no infected. So, can we explain this? And how did we come to this whole theory that Nathan Drake caused the outbreak in The Last of Us Parts 1 and 2? Many people believe it begins with the U-boat found in the first Uncharted. Is it possible that locked away for decades, a Cordyceps bioweapon was created? There's an interesting article in Real Life about military uses for Cordyceps, a strain called Cordyceps militaris. I'll put a link to that article in the description below and to a pinned comment so you could check that out for yourself and tell me just what do you think or make of all that. Makes for an interesting read while we're talking about this fungus. Anyway, could it be that the Nazis in Uncharted began studying this and things got out of hand? Once Drake opens up the U-boat in 2007, which is when Uncharted, the very first one, takes place, he lets this fungus out, and it takes about 3 years to make its way around the world. Uncharted 3 takes place in 2010. Very keen eyes pay attention to various details in these video games. What I mean by that is that some people paid very close attention and found a newspaper with the headline, "Scientists are still struggling to understand deadly fungus." Could it be that this new strain was being studied along with contingencies for worst case scenarios for 3 years when Outbreak Day began? This would explain how the military moved in so quickly in 2013 and handled civilians as they did in the original Last of Us video game. But hold on, Darkstrider. How do you explain the other Uncharted games and epilogue from Uncharted 4, I hear you say? Well, as always, I have a theory for that, and here's my theory. So, to begin with, Outbreak Day happens at the very end of 2013, November 26th to be exact. While we see events unfold in The Last of Us, it could be confined to one area. Drake and company could still have had their adventures while things were getting covered up by governments and various other agencies until it reached its breaking point. That could have bought another maybe 3 to 5 years, at which point the Uncharted series would catch up to The Last of Us. Now, the only thing I can't explain is Uncharted 4's epilogue. It takes place in 2032, while the first Last of Us game takes place in 2033. When you take control of Joel and you're on the mission to bring Ellie to the Fireflies, that's the year 2033, 20 years after the events of Outbreak Day. So, could it be the epilogue was just a dream? an alternate timeline? Or will they retcon it as not happening? I'd love to hear your thoughts and your theories on this. Anyway, as always, I really do hope you enjoyed this video. By all means, I want you to go check out the articles that I posted up so that you could look into this thing yourself. Cordyceps, as I said, is a real thing. It's not mutated, so it's not going to affect humans as of yet, but it's a very real thing affecting small animals and especially all kinds of bugs. So again, I'd love to hear what your thoughts on this are. What theories do you have as far as connecting the two games? And anything else that you want to discuss about this, I'd love to hear from you. Again, I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, take care, be good, stay safe, take care of each other. See you guys all in the next one. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you never miss any content. And as always, after watching this, sweet dreams.